Hello, welcome to Modern Paleo Cooking. My name is Wendy Myers. Today we're making ginger chicken stir fry. This is such an easy dish that I love to make for my family. It takes 20 minutes. The ingredients that we're going to be using are diced up chicken. You want organic pastured chicken preferably. This is Modern Paleo Cooking, so we want to be using organic pastured chicken and cut up into 1-inch pieces so they cook evenly. Then we're going to be using purple broccoli. You can use any kind of broccoli. I scored this at the farmer's market. Purple broccoli has more antioxidants in it. It's more nutrient dense than regular broccoli by far. And you can see the difference here. The purple broccoli comes in little florets, and the green broccoli was just, boring old green broccoli. So I'm really excited about using this today. And then we are going to be using 1 red bell pepper, just chopped up, and then we're going to be using 1 can of sliced water chestnuts. You don't have to use these. You can use any vegetables that you want. You can use bamboo shoots, any of your favorite vegetables. Sometimes I like Chinese cabbage in mine, but this is just what I'm using today for my dish. Then we have 3 to 4 scallions, diced green onions, they're also called. And I love green onions because they are 130 times more nutrient dense than regular onions. So I try to use green onions in as many dishes as possible. I put them on top of eggs. These bad boys are packed full of nutrients. Then we're gonna have our shiitake mushrooms. They're just big mushrooms like this. We got some big boys in the market yesterday. And just dice them up like this. And they will be ready to go into your dish. And then we're going to be using, of course, for our seasoning is some ginger. You just need about, actually just 1 inch of ginger like this. And then we're going to grate it up and put it into our dish. And then, of course, we have our garlic. You need about 3 or 4 cloves of diced garlic. And I love fresh garlic. Fresh garlic is, it's not dried. It's just, this is how it comes out of the ground. But you can use dried if that's all you have. That's what you typically find in the stores. But if you go to your farmer's market, you can find fresh. And it's a little bit more mild, and it has more nutrients in it because it's fresh. And so this is what I prefer to use in my kitchen. So let's get started. The key to a stir fry is a hot wok. So before we get started, let's heat up our wok. And just put it on about medium heat. And then we're gonna let that heat up for 1 second while I grate our ginger. So you can just get any kind of a cheese grater or a fine grater like this and just, grate it up. Just take a couple minutes. The key to this dish is the ginger. It gives it such a wonderful flavor. But if you don't have a grater like this, you can just chop it up into little bits or even little matchstick sizes. But I find if the pieces are too big, you get, a big bite of ginger. It's a little bit too overwhelming. So I like it a little bit better if it's just ground up like this, if it's grated. And then while we're doing that, since our wok is nice and heated up now, we're gonna be using 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. And we just need to coat our pan with that. And so you want your pan sizzling. You want the oil to sizzle a little bit, then you know your pan's hot enough. So you can just swirl that around. And if you don't have sesame oil, you can use really any kind of oil. I prefer not to use peanut oil. That's too high in omega-6s. Ooh, that pan is hot, it's smoking. And so we're gonna put our chicken pieces in here. And let that cook for about 2 minutes on this side, and then we're going to turn it over and cook it for 1 more minute on the other side. So let's finish our ginger. So that's about enough right there, that's perfect. And so just let this cook. I think it's really, really important to use organic pastured chicken. You can use any chicken you need. I mean, organic pastured chickens are not available to everybody. I got this at my local farmer's market from a farmer who grows their own chickens, and They're really, really high quality chickens. This is one chicken breast. It was really huge, but you normally use 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts cut up into bite-sized pieces. But I was only able to use one. This chicken was a monster. So I urge you to use pastured chicken because you want to be eating food or animals that were eating what they're supposed to be eating. And most chickens you find at the grocery store, even if they're organic, were fed grains. They were fed soy and corn and other things, and that's not their natural diet. You want to be eating chickens that were grass-fed, so to speak, where they are foraging on grass and out in pasture, and they're eating worms and bugs and things like that. And that chicken will have more omega-3 fats, and that's one of the main things missing today in people's diets. So if you eat a regular chicken, an organic chicken, if they're fed grains, the nature of that diet is going to give them more omega-6 fats, which are inflammatory. So the key to any healthy diet is eating pastured meats so that you get more omega-3 fats that are in that bird or animal. So I think these are about done, and I'm going to turn them on the other side. They can cook for about a minute on the other side. And then once those are kind of done, then we're going to be adding in our garlic, and cook the garlic for just a minute because you don't. If you cook the garlic too long, you'll have kind of a burnt garlic taste, not very flavorful. So once these are done cooking a little bit more, we'll add the garlic in, and then all of our vegetables, and then we'll cook those for about 3 to 5 minutes until they're about tender crisp. You want you don't want to cook it too long because it destroys nutrient value if you cook it too long. That's about done. So we're going to add our garlic. I like lots of garlic. You don't have to use this much, but I tend to like a lot. I think it's so healthy for you. Garlic is antifungal, it's antiviral, antibacterial. It's something I definitely take if I ever have a cold. So I'm sick and I have a wonderful garlic breath. My poor husband. But I try to eat garlic every morning. I'll eat a clove of garlic every morning just because it's so beneficial to your health and so nutrient dense. So if you want to add more garlic to your stir fry, you might as well. And then we're going to be adding a little bit more sesame oil before we add our vegetables, just so the vegetables don't stick to the pan. And so first we're going to do our purple broccoli. And then our shiitake mushrooms. It's my favorite part of the dish. And those shrink down quite a bit, so don't get worried if you have these big gigantic pieces, they shrink down. And then we're gonna add our bell peppers. It adds a beautiful color to the dish. I also like red bell peppers because they're the most nutritious of all the bell peppers. The green ones are immature, they're picked too early. So we want our vegetables to be as brightly colored as possible. Reds, greens, and then purples. But with the red bell pepper, it's more nutrient dense because it's been sitting on the vine longer, on the plant longer, and it's had to produce more antioxidants to protect itself from the sun. So this is what you want to confer more nutrients to your body when you eat it. And it adds a nice touch of color, which is always very important. And so then we're going to add our water chestnuts. These give the dish a really nice crunch. I love water chestnuts in a stir fry. And then we add our green onions, which are super nutrient dense, as I already mentioned. And if some of your sesame oil starts to dry up, the pan gets a little bit too dry, you can always add a little bit more sesame oil. And then right at the end of the dish, we're going to be adding our soy sauce. Most soy sauce has wheat in it, which I don't recommend. I'm not a big fan of gluten on the modern paleo diet. It does not include gluten of any kind. So I use an organic tamari gluten-free soy sauce. And what that means, it just wasn't made with wheat. Most soy sauce is fermented with wheat. You wouldn't think so. You wouldn't think there's wheat and soy sauce, but there is. Tamari is just a higher end type of soy sauce. There's, I mean, literally hundreds of different kinds of soy sauces, but they're not all in the same class. So the tamari is a little bit, you know, higher up notch than if the bottle just says generic soy sauce. So I always recommend, like I said, the gluten-free tamari is really tasty. And just keep stirring this up. You know, let it cook for a minute. Let it sit on the sides of the dish. The vegetables, you know, sit all within the wok. And then when those cook for about a minute, then you can stir it again. Get a different side of the vegetable. And that is about it. And then we are going to pour in about, I do about 2 or 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. You can measure, I prefer a shot glass, measure my soy sauce. But you know, you can always add more soy sauce later, so you don't want to add too much to the dish or it'll be too salty. Let's try that. Maybe a little more. And then when we're making ginger chicken stir fry, make sure you don't forget your ginger. I've done it before. So we're gonna take our ginger that we grated up. So we're gonna put that in the dish. And then make sure you stir that up so it's evenly distributed, so that every bite has a little that wonderful, you know, like tangy ginger flavor, that strong ginger flavor. And that's pretty much it. You throw your vegetables and chicken in and they're cooked in about, you know, 5 to 6 minutes. Thanks so much for watching Modern Paleo Cooking. My name is Wendy Myers and this is Ginger Chicken Stir Fry.